The sun hung low in the sky, painting the horizon in fading gold as a cloud of dust rose from a narrow dirt road. An old pickup truck rattled its way toward a small, time-worn farmhouse. Inside sat a young woman, silent and still, gripping a single, battered suitcase. Her gaze rested on the passing fields outside the window, though her thoughts were far from them. Her name was Clara, and her heart carried the heavy ache of disgrace. In the town where she had grown up, people whispered cruelly about her weight, her quiet ways, her inability to fit in anywhere. Those whispers had sharpened into ridicule and punishment. And now, as if exile could teach her humility, she had been sent to live and work on the farm of a poor man she'd never met. No one admitted it, but Clara knew the truth. They weren't helping her, they were discarding her, making her someone else's burden. Yet she didn't cry. She had learned long ago that tears solved nothing. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and the quiet power of compassion to transform lives, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to Stories of Kindness. Your support helps us bring more heartfelt stories to life. When the truck came to a halt before the weathered farmhouse, Clara stepped out, her dress clinging to her in the thick, humid air. The man who greeted her wasn't what she expected. He was tall, broad-shouldered, his skin bronzed by years beneath the sun. His clothes were simple, worn, yet clean. His face was unreadable, not cold, but not warm either, as he gestured toward her suitcase and motioned to the porch. There was no pity in his eyes. Strangely, that was a comfort. Behind him stood an older man with a white beard and thoughtful eyes that seemed to see more than he revealed. Clara's stomach tightened. She didn't know what awaited her here, only that there was no going back. The harsh beginning the first weeks on the farm tested her to her core. Clara wasn't used to physical work. Her body ached in ways she didn't know were possible. Each dawn, she rose before the sun to feed the animals, carry heavy buckets of water, and haul bales of hay. Her hands blistered, her muscles throbbed. The farmer, his name was Luke, gave clear instructions but never unnecessary comfort. He didn't scold. Yet he didn't soften her struggles either. Clara battled not just the weight of the work, but the weight of her own insecurities. At night, she sat alone on a small attic bed, replaying the townspeople's cruel words until they echoed through her mind like ghosts. But slowly, a quiet change began. Her body, though still heavy, grew stronger. Tasks that once left her gasping for air became easier. She could lift, climb, and carry. The pain in her hands turned into proof of progress. And inside her, something began to heal. Away from the judging eyes of the town, Clara started hearing her own voice again. Calm, determined, and kind. She realized she had spent years letting others decide her worth. On the farm, no one cared how she looked. Here she was simply capable. A hidden truth one evening, as the sun melted into a blaze of orange and gold, Luke asked Clara to ride with him to the far edge of the property. She assumed they were checking fences or moving supplies. But as the truck bumped down the dirt path, Clara noticed how far they traveled. Miles upon miles of open fields stretching endlessly. When they reached a hilltop, the view took her breath away. Land spread in every direction, kissed by the fading light. This wasn't just a farm. It was a kingdom of earth and sky. Luke said nothing, only watched her reaction. Over the following weeks, bits of truth surfaced. Luke wasn't a poor farmer at all. He owned thousands of acres passed down through generations. Yet chose to live humbly. He could have hired many workers but preferred to labor beside the few he trusted. To him, wealth wasn't for display, it was a responsibility. And Clara began to understand. Here, worth wasn't measured by beauty, status, or money. It was measured by character, resilience, and kindness. Transformation for the first time. Clara felt truly seen. Not for her weight or mistakes, but for her heart. Luke's quiet acceptance and the steady rhythm of life healed the wounds she thought would last forever. She learned to care for animals, plant seeds, and listen to the wind whisper through the fields. She began to laugh freely, to smile without fear. The shame that had once chained her started to fall away, like dust shaken from her boots at day's end. Months passed. Clara grew confident and capable. She took initiative, fixed broken tools, cooked for the workers, and tended to sick animals. Everyone noticed. Luke, the old man, even the land itself seemed to respond to her care. The girl who once arrived as punishment had become essential, a valued part of this place. The revelation one day, Luke finally told her the truth. The town had painted her as lazy and spoiled. But he had known that wasn't who she was. He wanted her to discover her own worth. To learn that cruelty could never define her. His farm wasn't her punishment. It was her chance. And then he said words Clara would never forget. Sometimes life sends you away from where you don't belong so you can find where you do. A new beginning over time. Clara stopped seeing herself as the girl the town had labeled. She had become strong, kind, capable, loved by those who truly mattered. The farm had given her a second chance, but more importantly, it had taught her how to rebuild herself. Standing once more on that same hilltop, gazing across the golden fields, Clara understood. She hadn't been sent here to change her life. She had been sent to transform everything, including herself. If this story touched your heart, if it sparked hope, compassion, or courage, please like, share, and subscribe to Stories of Kindness. Your support helps us share more uplifting tales that remind the world kindness can heal what judgment breaks. And if you've ever been misunderstood or unfairly judged, tell us your story in the comments. Someone out there may find strength in your words today.